heart attack. Fast, fatal, heart impact. Past painful scars, in fact, I blast tasteful bars and pass. I back up my actions, fact, don't ask, grab reactions, jacked, attack with every word, then act with class as they hear me snap. I got nothing to lose, cause I fought and felt the bruise. Now I'm not the one confused, call the shots and they produce. I ain't lost, I'm finally loose. Pick a new submerged juice. I need the views to boost me to a new abuse of being used. Everybody wants a piece now. Y'all can rest in peace now. You're dead to me, so peace out. Remember, you're discreet now. Get ready for defeat now.
Alrighty. Hello everybody. This is Kirusho here, and now, before we do continue, let us give a brief little review. In the last part, we had Izuku, Katsuki, Izumi, and Katsuki. Now, these four, they all were in the same place at the exact same time, and something odd happened. They had dinner and they all talked. Deku learned his friend was here for over 20 years. He popped up in this reality before they did. He popped up 20 years before they did. Now, Deku, he felt a little bit hurt by this. Bakugo, he didn't come out and just say it. He had to lie straight to his own face. Now, this annoyed Deku. And right now, there is the fact where he does have a little bit less trust in his best friend. And there actually was where they talked about what was happening over dinner. They talked about the book, and they just talked about the idea that, well, they had another encounter. Specifically, it was Izuku. Deku doesn't trust Bakugo, and Bakugo thinks Deku is going fucking loony. However, they can't argue over the fact that they are jumping through realities. That is concrete. And after the monster in a horror movie tried to crawl into their reality, there was where they got sucked into the book. Now, with that being said, we do actually open on the four. The four, they were sucked into the book, and right now they do find themselves in a very odd and strange place. They find themselves on a lake, but where are they? The water below them. It's pure darkness, as dark as a sky. But there's nothing above them either. So that doesn't make sense. The water ripples, and they can feel it on their toes. Now, there actually is where the four they do go to look around. It's just them in this water in every single direction. What is this? Now, a voice actually can be heard. Exactly what do you think it is? And all four of them, they do go to look around. They don't know where that came from. It came from over there. No, it's over here. Now, all four of them, they do start to somewhat panic. And there is actually where something does get to start happening. They do start to run in one direction. And they can feel the ground moving underneath them. As there actually is, whenever they do start to see something in the distance, when they see it, they actually all do go to fall forwards and into the water. Them smashing into it and feeling freezing cold. Now, it is quite confusing. However, there actually is Deku, from his point of view. He's currently being pulled under the water. And he's trying to just swim up. However, no matter how high he goes, he feels like he's just falling deeper. And then there's a hand that just reaches down and pulls him straight out. Him coughing for air as he's going to look over to his left and to his right. And there's everybody else. They're all coughing for air. And then there's the person in front of them. Them with their back turned to Deku and everybody. Walking towards... What? That's a giant tree? No, that... What is that? It's made of... Well, that makes no sense. Okay. Describing it, it's just... It's made of light. It's glowing like the sun. Now, the person is going to turn around. And Deku, he actually has to bring his hands up over his eyes to shield the light, going to see himself. However, they're a lot older, and from what he can tell, experienced. Hmm? Who are you? My, Izuku. Him gonna lean backwards to sit down, and whenever he does so, he does gonna sit directly on nothing. He's practically just floating there in the air like that. It's quite simple. I've told you before, I'm you. You're not me. Oh, of course I am. I mean, I lived through your life. I have lived through the one you're living through right now. I have first-hand experiences to everything you're going to say and do, and what you'll be going through before you even do. I will give you a brief warning, though. The next world, it won't be easy. It'll be just as crazy as what you all have been experiencing. I might leave you there for a while, or I might pull you straight out of it. It really does depend. I can change the timeline how I see fit. Or I could split you all up again. Let you go with your counterparts, or let you go with your friend's counterparts. Now, Katsuki does get someone look up and ask him basically, why is he doing this? Quite perceptive, Katsuki. Quite perceptive. It's quite simple, really. Throughout everything I have lived and experienced in my life, all of it has been done. You name it, I've done it. And I've lived through every different version of my own life. I myself am a god. Now, Deku, he is going to reach down for his gun. However, whenever he does so, it's not there. Izuku, it's not there. Don't try it. You want to try and shoot me to see if I can die. Just 'cause the other one told you that. But how do I know that? Well, as I am you, he is also you. Now, Izuku, tell me, how do you feel? Now, Deku, he does just sit there, and he does get to look directly over to Izumi, and then he does look over to his right. There's Bakugo. Oh, Izuku, he can't help you. Besides, don't you feel annoyed by him? All he did? Everything he hid from you. 2 decades worth of lies. 2 decades he spent there, thinking that he was just an insane little boy in therapy. 2 decades they tried to convince him that all he was thinking about, everything he dreamt, everything he drew, and everything he screamed his little lungs out about were real. Everything people tried to convince him that what he thought was real was fake. Now, Bakugo, he actually is going to look up towards Deku. Him going to actually try and run forwards and directly towards himself, or towards this version of Deku. Now, Bakugo, he does rush forwards. And there actually is where he does get directly in front of Deku, before he suddenly just does going to stop. And Katsuki, she does see that. As Bakugo, he doesn't say a word. And there actually is where they look at him. And Bakugo, he does just fall backwards. Him falling backwards and into the water, where he does just disappear. Now, Bakugo, she does watch that. He's going under, and he's going into the dark. Now, there actually is Izuku, who he does scramble to his feet, scratching and clawing at the water. Him rushing forwards and directly over towards Bakugo, trying to actually claw into the ground and get to Bakugo. However, as he's sinking through the water, Deku feels like he's clawing through a solid. He feels like he's clawing through dirt. What are you doing to him? Izuku, he's going to the next world. However, I might have a chat with him before then. Show him exactly how things are for him in different realities. Let him know that the 20 years he spent here that he thought were hell were not hell. There are worse places. There are versions of you who have gone to hell, who have been to hell, who have made deals with devils, demons, and angels. Now, Izuku, I'm going to hold out his hand. Ask him if he would like to see some of these things. He'll show him some of the ones that are a bit more favorable, since they are less disturbing. Now, Deku does go to look up towards, well, himself. And there actually is Azumi, who does go to scream out to let Bakugo go, as she's going to try and stand up. And Deku, he does just look towards her, bringing his hand up, and just going to wiggle his finger. And Azumi, her mouth and face do go to disappear. And she just go to grab towards her face, trying to find, well, anything there. She can't see, she can't smell, and she can't speak. Now, there actually is Bakugo, who she does go to directly turn to Azumi to try and help her out. And Deku, he does see that. Him going to turn back towards himself, and go to at least try to do something. Him going to turn and go to shout, as his mouth is going to disappear as well. Oh, Izuku, I know everything you were about to say. You want me to let you go? You're wondering why? All your questions I can answer. Everything you think right now I can answer. However, that is just it. I wish to show you much, but what you were going to say to me, your little heroic speech, let's go ahead and skip that. I'm quite wary of many of them. I've given many, and I've heard many. Now, Izuku, I'm going to somewhat lean forwards and bring his finger up to the center of his own forehead. And Deku, he doesn't feel it. The moment himself just going to tap directly onto his head, he does going to fall backwards. And his eyes, they're blank. Now, there actually is Katsuki, or Katsuki, who she does going to see that. Her looking directly at Deku and going to run over, checking to see if he's okay. What did you do to him? What did I do to him? What I did to him was quite simple. He's living his own lives. He's witnessing quite a bit. And let's just hope that he can handle it. Now, Bakugo, she is confused. However, she does get moved a few feet away as Deku starts to scream in somewhat spasm. Him grabbing at his own head and screaming at the top of his lungs. His mouth is not there, but she can still hear him. His voice, it's screaming. Now, it's a bit disturbing to her, and she does look directly towards this version of Deku. Ask him who he really is. Who I really am. You know the answer to that, Katsuki. No, I don't believe it. How is it possible? Bakugo, Deku going to stand onto his feet, before walking forwards towards her, telling her that if he knew how it was possible for him to become this way, he would gladly not live this life. What? I'm a god. However, I was human once. I'm going to walk directly up towards her, and standing in front of her. The tree made of nothing but brilliant white light. It shines behind him, stretching to the heavens. And then there's just him. His voice, the way he's speaking, the way he's presenting himself, the way he's changing everything. He really is a... I see you understand now. Now, Bakugo. I'm going to bring his hand up, and tapping onto her forehead, telling her that things, they will work out in the end. Do keep that in mind. Now, Bakugo, she does going to disappear. And the moment that actually has happened, there actually is Deku, who, he was spazzing on the ground before he does go to finally stop. And he does a jerky turn towards Deku before just going to lower him with his hand into the water. And there actually is Azumi, who she's quite terrified as to what's going on. She can hear all these things, but nothing makes sense. And you do actually where Azumi, her face is going to reappear. Her being able to take in a deep breath and have her senses somewhat bombard her for a second. She does get to look around. And there's Bakugo. Azumi? Oh, I see. So, have you not forgiven the liar yet? Him walking up. And there actually is where Bakugo, he's just floating there above the ground. And he's drenched in the water. What are you talking about? The traitor among your midst. The one who lies. The one who doesn't understand that trust isn't a one-way highway. What? Why are you doing this? Why are you wearing his face? Bakugo, I'm not wearing his face. I am your best friend. However, the version of you in my reality, he died in a nuclear explosion. In fact, I remember seeing him go. I visited that reality from time to time. I trapped your counterparts in it as well. And I do have to say, I didn't imagine it being a romantic setting for both of them. What? Romantic setting? Oh, yes. They lost their memories. And then they just felt fine. They hated and didn't trust each other at first. However, they bounce off of each other surprisingly well. Their personalities are very much similar, just like you two. In fact, where Zuko, he is more confident, Katsuki, she is a little bit more shy and timid. And there is actually you, Izumi. You are a lot more hot-headed, just like your friend here. You bastard! Don't what, Bakugo? Don't say the next few words. Don't hurt them. Don't hurt her. You do love her, don't you? Bakugo? What is he talking about? Oh, Izumi. Such a smart girl, but you don't really understand it. You're oblivious to much for your own intelligence. He spent 2 decades in a reality by himself, and he got to see you quite a bit for 2 decades. You two were going to have dinner, a date, and, well, you two were going to be married 2 years later in that reality. In fact, the version of reality where you guys do not interfere, it is sooner rather than later. Now, Izumi, she's caught off guard by that. What? No, that sounds ridiculous. Now, Izumi, she does go to directly stare at Izuku, and he just says those words out loud. And Izumi, she doesn't know what to do. As Izuku does go to turn and directly start walking towards her. And Bakugo, he is shouting at him. Do not harm her. I wish to show her many things, Bakugo. Don't. Don't what? Deku started to walk towards Bakugo, asking him, don't hurt her. Don't harm her. Death is not the end here. He could kill them and bring them back just as fast as he wants to. Or he can let them experience some of the things he's experienced in death. Now, Bakugo, he does stare at Izuku, as his hand is starting to turn skeletal. And he does just watch. As Izuku, he does get to bring his hand directly after Bakugo. And Bakugo, he tries to spit at Izuku. Tries to spit into the face of this being in front of him. However, the moment he does try to, all that comes out is black paint. It hits directly onto the man's suit. He does go look directly down at it, before it does go to just disappear and reappear back to normal. And Deku, he does go directly stare at Bakugo, before just going to flick him in the forehead, and he does go to disappear. And Izumi, she is still sitting there. terrified. Before she does get to disappear as well. Hearing those final words from this person, it will all work out. The branches, they always will keep growing and diverging. That is what the tree is for. It holds the weight of everything, and it will continue to do so for as long as it exists. And Izumi, she's just confused. What does that even mean? Those words, what do they mean? Now, we actually cut over to Izuku, who right now, he's living through quite a bit. He was screaming his lungs out, and he could feel it. The pain, the experiences, the trauma. He's running through different versions of reality. One where he's hiding in a forest, one where he's stuck in a snowstorm, one where he's, well, strapped to a chair, and there's a man in front of him with just something in his hands to cut him up. Now, Deku, he actually is going to reappear, as he actually is going to find himself back in that pond. And he does just start trying to swim up. He's desperate. He needs to get out of here. He can't breathe. He's stuck. He's going to be stuck here forever, isn't he? Now, Deku, he's having a full-on mental breakdown. And he's just trying to keep himself from going down into the water. However, there actually is whenever he does get to feel something strange. He's ice cold here. And right now, he feels something warm on his face. And he does get to at least try to pay attention once again. He does get to follow this feeling, as he does get to grab towards his face and see Bakugo in front of him. It's her. Now, Bakugo, she's going to point directly up, and going to start swimming upwards and into the air. And Deku, he does look up to follow her, as he has to go to try and go after her as well. Now, there actually is on the surface, or at the top of the water. The two, they do go to break through, and successfully try to climb out. However, there's a bit of a problem. They climb out of a puddle on the street, and right now there were people around who just saw them. The two, they come out of the water shivering cold, and they are, to say the least, underprepared for the weather. Now, with that, a few people are freaking out. And right now, there is where a camera, it was pointing at the location. And it saw everything. It saw the hands come flying out of the water. Before, arms came out afterwards, and then a head gasping for air desperately. Before the two, they had to basically just get out of the water, and they were just shaking. And from what they could tell, clearly in a state of trauma. The two were holding onto each other for dear life. And it was quite odd. Now, a mobile task force is deployed. And right now, these two need to be brought into custody, since this clearly was an anomaly. Now, with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed, and have an amazing day. I'll catch you guys in the next part.